Africa, say it louder. Say Salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum, salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum, salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum, salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum.
We stand, we fight, we fall. All we need is freedom. All we need is freedom. Free Africans,
Free from slavery, free from slavery, free as a command to slavery, free as a command to slavery, free as a command to slavery, free from slavery, free from slavery. Yeah.
we're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war.
Salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum, salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum, salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum, salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, African woman. You wanna be the most simplest one in the world. Get yourself the back and feel the reggae music coming to you from the one of the most peaceful man. So many lie down on the street, what you for them? We are dancing at the hills. Get yourself the most free time and preach about freedom. Preach about freedom.
We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war.
Wait up, look on the street, isolation, youth. Stop violence, isolation. You have to listen and be a man. The music we are doing is not a music for fun. We are preaching, hear it loud and clear. Hey, night and day, now slipping it out. Better preach, let the people hear. Better preach, let the blind feel. The sound of freedom and love. 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 Salam alaikum, Morocco. Salam alaikum, Libya. Salam alaikum, Niger. Salam alaikum, Nigeria. Salam alaikum, Niger. Salam alaikum, South Sudan. Salam alaikum, Sudan. Salam alaikum, South Africa. Salam alaikum, Africa. Salam alaikum, Africa. Salam alaikum. Let's Sudan and be free. Salam alaikum. United we stand. Salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, of course. Good morning, dear viewers of concerned citizen of South Sudan. And I would say greeting to you and salutation to all in the name of motherland, South Sudan. We are live today, Saturday, March 27, 2021, to discuss one of the major important political issues in our country. The question is legitimacy. In this live broadcast, we shall look into the question of J1 legitimacy, beginning with April 2010 election, which were conducted in a former unified Republic of Sudan, in which we were a region called Southern Sudan that time, and in which the citizen of Southern Sudan voted massively for General Salva Kiir Mayardit, electing him as the president of government of Southern Sudan, goes, defeating Dr. Lama Kola Jawin, and then chairman of the SPLM-DC and candidate for the presidency of the government of Southern Sudan that time. Based on this fact, President Salva Kiir was elected as the president of a regional government within the former unified Sudan, not as a president of an independent of South Sudan. In July 2011, President Salva Kiir was appointed, not elected, by the Parliament to be president of the Republic, according to the provision of 2011 Transitional Constitution, amended in 2015. To further clarify this point, I would like to quote Article 97, Sub-Article 1 and 2, which states the following. There shall be a president for the Republic of South Sudan, who shall be directly elected by the people of South Sudan in general elections, according to this constitution and provisions set forth by the National Election Commission in accordance with electoral law. Notwithstanding Article 1 above, the incumbent elected president of the government of Southern Sudan shall be the president of the Republic of South Sudan, unquote. So it is clear there with that quote from the Constitution. The Transitional Constitution of 2011, amended 2015, on page 51, in this article, the Constitution had laid a foundation for democracy because it is clearly stated that there shall be a president of the Republic of South Sudan who shall be directly elected by the people of South Sudan. But current leader, President Salva Kiir Mayardit, was not elected as a president of the Republic of South Sudan. For the Republic of South Sudan has never witnessed elections since the dawn of an independence. It is very clear that our lawmaker appointed the elected president of the government of Southern Sudan, General Salva Kiir Mayardit, who was then the incumbent president of Southern Sudan, to become the president of the Republic of South Sudan, which the general election is scheduled in the Constitution for 2015. It is our right, of course, as a concerned citizen of South Sudan, to question the legitimacy of presidency at J1 today and discuss it in a rational manner. General Salva Kiir Mayardit was only elected as the president of Southern Sudan, ya Jama. He was going to be elected in 2015 general election, but keep in mind, but the election did not happen because the SPLM plunged the country into an event of civil war, which have witnessed over the last 7 years. Had General Salva Kiir Mayardit prevented the war in 2013, perhaps it would have been elected as the president of the republic, or it would have lose election to his opponent and go home and retire. Nevertheless, this did not happen. Instead, the country was dragged to destructive tribal civil war. And therefore, the democratic electoral process was deferred. The term of president in office expired, and the parliament had to extend his term in the office from 2015 to 2020. Moreover, his term in the office was also extended by the September 12, 2018 political deal he had signed in Khartoum with the main political rival, Dr. Riek Machar, and his other SPLM political rivals. My dear brothers and sisters, I am here today to discuss this very important topic with you and with my guests, Mr. Wol Dengatak and Mr. Wendy Marial, Mr. Moses Maker, Mr. Emmanuel Wani, and Mr. Peter below. Keep in mind, and I keep reminding all the viewers every time, we can agree to disagree, and that's okay. But we do not condone enemies behaving, derogatory, attack, vicious, foul languages. We don't condone that. Please be professional in your comment when we are having this very important topic and point of discussion. No problem. Disagreement is always there. It's not an issue. But let us refrain from insulting one another. With that, I welcome all of you, wherever you tune in South Sudan, in Australia, in the United States, in Europe, and all around the world. As always, this humble forum of concerned citizens of South Sudan is welcome all of you from all different political background and all different walk of life. Thank you so much for tuning in one more time, and I want you to go ahead and share our live broadcast so many people can be reached and understand what we are doing here together tonight. With that, I will be waiting for my guests to tune in here, and then we'll continue with this discussion. As I'm waiting for them to tune in, let me go ahead and, as usual, and play a little bit of music here. And while I'm waiting for them tonight, let me go ahead and play Anyuak, Ahalna Anyuak. You know, music, the eastern part of the country. A lot of time, you know, I don't hear a lot of songs from Anyuak, but let me go ahead and play this Anyuak as I'm waiting for them in this very short break. I hope they tune in very quick so we can start this discussion. We are going to do 2 hours and a half. I know that my brother, Edward Achek, is still live. He has a big discussion going on there. But of course, that's why we start a little bit late here today. It is now almost 3 p.m. in New York City. And I believe it is almost 6 a.m. in Melbourne, Australia. Let me go ahead and play a bit of music here while we are waiting for them to tune in.
Celebrate Easter with a
I apologize for that, but we shall continue. That's an annual, very beautiful music. What a beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I hope my guests would be able to tune in so we can start the discussion. As I said, always, it's not good to have dead air. It's good to start on time so we can get it done and move on. I know some people actually, they are interested, tuning in, but because of their network sometimes, cannot cooperate. But please, Moses, Wendy Marial, I saw you guys a while ago here. Just go ahead and tune in, please, so we can get this thing done as quick as we can. Okay, Wani, if you are ready, you can go ahead. I don't know, Wendy Marial. This is really nice. The music. Emmanuel, I saw you there, Emmanuel Wani. I don't know what happened. It didn't work. Hopefully it will work for you. I think Gizmo, you understand, you know, the song, right? One more time, I want to remind our viewers the matter of discussion today, the J1 legitimacy between April 2010 elections, civil wars, parliamentary extensions, and political deals. And you are all aware that, you know, last week, Nial Deng responded to Peter Berajak testimony before the United States Senate Foreign Relationship. So we will bring that up as well today. It's a matter of discussion. So please stay tuned and go ahead and make an effort to share our live broadcast so many people, you know, can tune in as well. Thank you for being patient as we are waiting for our guests to tune in and show up here on the screen. I really, really appreciate it. One more time, we apologize to our viewers, you know, for a little bit of delay. Wendy Marial, welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. It's good to have you on the program. I appreciate you tuning in and being part of the discussion tonight. I hope the network will cooperate and it's not going to give us, you know, a hiccup one more time. So as we move on with our discussion. One more time, we apologize to viewers. Do you have any device on there, Wendy Marial? Any other device on? Yeah, it looks like welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. Unfortunately, there is some issues with Wendy Marial network. I hope you can fix that and then resume. Go ahead and fix that, my dear brother. Fix it and resume right here. Let's continue, you know, to wait for our our guests here. Like I said, Emmanuel Wani, Ustaz Walatak Deng, and Moses. So hopefully everyone will tune in soon and then we start our discussion. I do see there Ustaz Wal is staging on the studio. Ustaz Wal Deng Attack, welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. Our all apology to our viewers, you know, for starting a little bit late. I know that the same viewers, you know, they go back and forth. Edward Ashek has a show too, and I see that Ustaz David is there as well. And maybe that's why we have people coming back and forth. Maybe they are not aware that we started yet. But anyhow, welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. As usual, tonight, The J1 legitimacy between April 2010 elections, civil wars, parliamentary extensions for the President Kiir to be in power. Even the parliament, they have extended their term in the office several times as well. And political deals. Recently, you have heard and you have seen the press release by Minister of Presidential Affairs, Nel Deng Nial, arguing and responding to Dr. Peter Berajak testimony before the United States Senate Foreign Relations. Tonight, we are going to shed a light on this, his responses, and also we'll be addressing more and more issues. One more time, welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. I want to give you a few minutes to greet our viewers, and then I'll move on here with with our discussion. Please.
My fellow South Sudanese, I want to take this opportunity to extend my greetings and sympathy to our fellow countrymen and women, both in uniform and non-uniform, of the suffering in the country. Thank you very much for coming today to listen to what we are going to share with you in regards to elections, in regards to mandate, and the peace agreement in totality. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Ustaz Weldeng Attack. And to start with, how do you analyze the statement issued by Honorable Nel Deng Nial, Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, in a response to Dr. Peter Berajak testimony on democracy in South Sudan in front of the United States Senate? And how do you analyze the content of the document? Go ahead.
Thanks you once again, and thanks to the viewers. The letter can actually pass for quite a number of things. On the face value, it looks like it's just a response to Peter Biar. And the other side of it, you look at it, is actually proving to the rest of the world, exposing it, the intention and the weaknesses in this government. And on weakness, I'm not talking about natural weakness of any entity. It's a deliberate, man-made weaknesses as exposed in extension of what the SPLM truly is. The leadership in the J1 has always thought it is the people and can decide on behalf of the people, even including the matters of elections. If you take it at the level of peace agreement that has been a traditional of a peace agreement, the number of things that we talk, peace agreement is never one party. It's between the parties.
Correct.
And you one party coming up and saying unilaterally that they're going to extend the time, the peace agreements time in order to prepare for election that they are not preparing for. And again, it talks about President Kiir being a legitimate leader, simply because President Salva Kiir was elected by the same people in South Sudan that are now in the geographical area of South Sudan, Republic of South Sudan. Therefore, it is the same group of people and the same people who have voted, or the voters rather. Therefore, there will be no need to talk that there is a lapse of legitimacy. And it has went further as to talk about disarmament process. I'll touch those bit and bit, but let me just get into it. Let us understand, for us to understand what it is, let us define what is legitimacy.
Go ahead.
Legitimacy, it can be divided as a right of a leader to govern. And legally it refers to the fact that law allowed someone to take actions. But what is legitimate government, therefore? Legitimate government is a government elected by citizens and enjoy the confidence and the trust of the citizen of that land. Hell, have the people of the Republic of South Sudan given that legitimacy to the government of South Sudan? What does a government do with legitimacy?
Mm.
What government does with legitimacy is to provide services to the individuals that they cannot, services that individuals cannot give to the government, give to themselves. And such of these as defense, protections, education, roads, territorial integrity of the defense of territorial integrity of the country, social services, health services, environmental protections. The question is, therefore, has the government of South Sudan been giving us this? And it went as further as to say that I'm coming in detail. I'm going to break it down. I'm just giving the summary of this.
No, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, the legitimacy as well could be talked of if in a democratic society, if a government bring up an agenda, just a moment, I forgot to turn on this, bring an agenda that it has not brought in the elections and begin to implement it, people will simply say this is not legitimate because it is not in the mandate of the people. People have not been told this is what you are going to do. Let me go in, after I've described this, let me look at the approach to legitimacy. Before I respond to
Nyal Deng
Nyal. Legitimacy has a various approach, but I stem in one. It is a sociological, political, and legitimacy. Let me say it again. Legitimacy is approached in two aspects. There's a political one. This is called political sociology. Under it, we'll find legal aspect of it. But let's look at this legitimacy in the sense of political, because the other one has whether the people have governed, who are being governed, have given the consent of being governed. That's sociological legitimacy. Political legitimacy, has that government been given the right to govern the nation that he is representing? When we went to election in 2014, in 2010, rather, we went to elections to discuss the views presented by President Salva Kiir Mayardit and Lama Kol. Two of them have different views. And the people of South Sudan said, our mandate will be given to President Salva Kiir Mayardit because we want him to steer the country through an independence. That was the key thing in the vote. When they voted under the regional government as the people of the Republic of United Sudan, under the regional government. This means even the businessmen who are Sudanese from the north voted for President Salva, who were living in Sudan because the electoral laws of the Sudan says any citizen living in a country for more than 6 months is eligible voter and to be voted on. The Sudanese who were
any resident. If you are a resident. Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
With the South Sudanese, with the Sudanese nationals living in southern Sudan, voted for him as well. They were voted for a regional government, not a republic. Now we became a republic. New status has to come in. And as usual, the members of the political bureau said, nominated President Salva Kiir as the president of the Republic of South Sudan, just as he was nominated in 2005 as president, as a vice president nominated, and the president of of the regional government of South Sudan. He was sworn in 2011. He was sworn in again. Hell, why did he have to be sworn in as the president of the republic? To protect the nation called South Sudan. That is a new mandate. Has he therefore, has the citizen of South Sudan, or did SPLM has the citizen of South Sudan to give them the mandate that they have? Surely no. They had not, and this warrant that there was a need for a second mandate. Therefore, it was not legitimate. But the people of South Sudan looked the other side in order for peace to progress. Now, the tricky part of this was that the South Sudanese got into elections. And when they got into elections in 2010, there was census, there was geographical demarcation that has taken place. Why, therefore, should it be the case that elections has to be extended for 5 years, continuing the regional mandate into the republic mandate? It's just because the SPLM didn't want to go through elections. The leadership did not want to go through elections. The easiest and the fastest way to go about it was to create a nomination process. Therefore, legitimacy, the president, I mean, the minister in the office of the president has no basis. Let me go through how this affected us. When we prepared for elections, the SPLM leadership fell apart. It's not the people of South Sudan who fell apart. It's the SPLM-led government. I will describe this as Group A, another as Group B. Group A comprises of President Salva Kiir, Nyeldeng Nial, Windeng Ajul, Kwalmanyang, Waniga, Wenakot, Nuno Kumba, and so forth. This group were arguing that the people of South Sudan, the delegate of the SPLM, should vote for the chairperson and who is also the flag bearer of the party by show of hand. They also proposed that the chairman of the party, who was Salva Kiir Mayar, should be given the power to nominate 5% of the entire delegation or convention. The convention was comprised of 1,000 membership. That means he wants 50 members to be put aside for him to appoint and not to be delegated by the people. The argument of Group B, which was comprises of people like Pagana Mom, Majanga God, Riek Machar, Taban Gai, Costume Neve, Shereno Teng, among others. They were arguing like, look, voting by show of hands is not healthy for democracy inside the party. We need to have people of South Sudan who have been delegated into the party as members of the SPLM to vote secretly, and that is what is universally accepted.
Secret ballot.
Secret ballots. Thank you. Second, they say this allocation to you, the chairperson of the party, to nominate the 50%, the 5% of the conventions, give you undue numerical advantage, and this is not also healthy for democracy. What happened, therefore? This led to the disagreement, and disagreement led to war, and the war led to
destruction.
We've seen. What I would also want to add on this, my brothers and the audience who are actually listening to me now, is for you to also understand this, Sorry, I got cut out here. I don't know whether you see me and hear me.
No, we see you. We see you clearly. Just continue.
Thank
What?
you. Okay, thank you. Let's look at it when it broke out and became the war. Both leadership of the party, either in the opposition or in the government, use a tribal sentiment to mobilize masses for themselves because they needed people's support. And this is not for the leadership. The leadership should unite the people of the country and bring them together and support them to build their life progressively. But the leadership chose to mobilize ethnic sentiments, both in the opposition and and in the government, dividing the country further and cause the suffering that we're having today. When we reached peace agreement in 2015, and I want us to make comparison to 2005 peace agreement in order to have understanding of what we should expect. What we should have expected. One, when the peace agreement was signed in 2005, the people of the leaders in the Mutawaral Authority and the leaders in the SPLM were given the new mandate through peace agreement. But for that mandate to be effective, it has to be incorporated into the law. It went through constitutive process. It has to be incorporated into the Constitution of the Republic of the Sudan before John Garang was sworn in. That is make process legal. But when it comes to 2015 agreement, and this is a distinct difference between people who are willing to implement the agreement and the leadership who was not willing to. In 2015 agreement, it was never incorporated into the Constitution. The same applies even today. Why should it be put into Constitution? Because the Constitution is a framework that guides the nations of what should be done. Whatever agreement the government reach outside the framework of the Constitution must be brought in and incorporated into law. And that's why international treaties are rectified before they become laws in the country. But our peace agreement that was signed between the rebels was supposed to be in the Constitution in order to guide it and guide the appointment, give the basis of why the power should be shared. Like power sharing in the CPA was that the SPLM has 7% and the NPC has 7%, right? But because our government operates outside the premises of law, they put it in their own box because they never even intended to implement it. And let me give you the proof why it wasn't intended to be implemented. The leadership began to meddle with the internal affairs of IO immediately when they came into the country. Even when Taban then was appointed, the president gave the copy of the letter to national security leader and told him, go and talk to Taban and tell him there's something we can do for you. Don't resign. We cannot accept your resignation now. Because Taban wanted to be appointed the Minister of Oil, Petroleum. But the internal leadership of the IO did not want him get that position. They allocated him a position of Minister of Mining. He presented his resignation to President Salva Kiir to resign, but Salva Kiir told him, no, there's something you're going to do with you. Stay there in IO. And coincidentally, I have copies of the checks. Coincidentally, Taban began to get checks, money transferred directly to Dubai, $800,000, $600,000. It all amount to $1.8 million. And what this money was set to be for, they were saying they are going for building. I said for hiring the plane for the first vice president to Dubai, to Ethiopia. The peace began to melt down from that process. And that showed that the government was not willing to implement it. The war broke out in J1. when the war broke out in J1, what happened? The peace agreement fell apart. And President Salva Kiir through the process of what they were called IO crowned, brought in Abande, and the peace went down. Today we have peace agreement that has been signed, that we are talking, the government is talking about now, that they need to be implemented. But that peace agreement is not getting the implementation that it deserved to have been done. We got in 2018. And since today, the important protocols of this, or provisions in this peace agreement have not been implemented. They have not been observed. That tells we are not having elections coming 2022 as stipulated in the peace agreement. Now the government is trying here to extend the agreement that was not implemented by looking for another excuse, because they know if we go to the polls today, the people of South Sudan will not vote for them. They will choose otherwise. So they must find a mechanism to delay it. Just bear with me.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Now, let me dive in through.
But if I may have a question now, Ustaz Wal.
Yes.
Actually, they are arguing that actually the notion that Peter Bjarajak said that President Kiir was appointed president, and he argued also that it was elected by the people. The notion that he was elected in 2010 and he was appointed to do the same duty that the president can do. Are they still the same people that elected him? It doesn't make any sense in what Peter Biar has argued before the US Congress. But the question is, President Kiir, when he was elected as the president of the government of Southern Sudan with a small s, what the mandate people have given him, that should be.
Absolutely correct, and thank you for bringing that up. When the people of South Sudan went to vote in 2010, they voted for a number of things. One of them was for the president to organize the country for a referendum, which he did well. One was to transform the army and prepare the nation for an election immediately after the referendum, should people of South Sudan choose to be independent. That was the assumption. But when you argue that these were the same people who were supposed to, these are the people who elected the president before, therefore there should be the same people, and there should be no question of legitimacy. That itself is wanting. And we all along been thinking of Neil Daniel as a person who is very concerned about the people of South Sudan, and that is why he has not been releasing some utterances such like those who his colleagues at like McQuay and Atang were utterances during the peace talk or when there is disagreement. But this later actually confirmed otherwise to us, because in essence, people seek mandate in order for them to tell the government that we have given you authority, we have given you the power to rule over us on the basis of what you told us you're going to do. And also, mandate is not given from the vacuum. It's given within the constitutional framework that existed. And there's no constitution stimulation that say the SPLM political bureau shall nominate, confirmed, and sworn in a member to become a president of the Republic of South Sudan. It's not in our constitution. But that's what happened to President Salva Kiir. He was nominated after the referendum result, confirmed by the SPLM as the president. And even went as further when the war broke out to extend the mandate through parliament. But the mandate is given as authority by the people. You see, the mandate is authority given by the people at the constituents, not at the political party. It's given to a political party. But to tell Minister Nial that what he said is not true, he must also see it in the fact that President Salva Kiir had to be sworn in for the second time, and that as a president of the Republic of South Sudan, and this recognized that he was not the president of the Republic of South Sudan, because when you are sworn into the office or you took the oath of the office, you are taking the oath of the office in a new environment. Second to that, Osas Jonkor, is the in summary, before I also get forward.
Before you go to summary, I have a question still, because Nial Deng make an argument on the statement that actually the agreement in September 2018 took more time. Hence, time lost must be recalculated so that there is adequate time to complete all the tasks of the transitional before election held. So now, when Nial Deng talking about the time that lost, peace agreement was signed in 2018, September 12, 2018. Now he's justifying here there is a time loss, and that time loss need to be recalculated. How are you going to count that on the citizen or the South Sudanese people? Whose fault for the time loss?
There is two things in the agreement implementations. One of these is political will to implement something that you signed. The other thing is lack of it. The government of South Sudan has demonstrated by continuously dragging its feet to derail the peace agreement. How has he done that? It has not, even for the time when people were assembling the soldiers, they have not sent a single junta of the SPLM government or the government in the SPLM into the training camp to make amalgamation of the army possible. It has failed to do that, and there was a deliberate act. It has stopped the peace agreement process under the argument that there's no money. But in fact, there's money. When his friends in Yolo want to go through elections, give them millions. There are records where President Salva has donated millions of dollars to a country whose leader is simply praying to him and going through elections. But it doesn't have the same amount of money to invest into implementation of peace agreement or into the payment of the salary to the soldiers. I remember there's one neighboring country went through elections. I will not mention the name, but when necessary, I should. 65 V8, including Prados, bought by the SPLM, by the South Sudan government, and given to these particular persons to support the election, to come back to win the elections. Truly, if there was no money, then the money, such money available, they should be put into the agreement and implemented. What am I trying to say is that I'm trying to say that the government of South Sudan lack the political will to implement the agreement. And the request the minister is making is time buying for it to create another situation whereby the people of South Sudan will be denied access to vote their choice, to make the democratic choice of a leader they want to vote for. Therefore, I would say the minister in the office of the president is playing to the tune of the plots or playing the script of the SPLM government in J1.
Yeah, basically you are saying that because they are just, not telling the truth, yes, not stating the facts, because the idea, if they want to implement this peace agreement from the get-go, they would have done it. They would have even not wait for 8 months, and then another 6 months, and then form the government partially later, and then later appointed the governor, and so forth. Until now, we have 4 months, 4 months left for the time that peace agreement on September 12th, 2018 was signed. 4 months to 3 months. So actually they were playing game, buying time. It was not genuine. It was not meant to be implemented. Basically, that's what they want to do. So now they wanted to justify that they can have more time. They can extend more and extend more and extend more. Now I have another question, Ustad Wal, before continuing here. And I read from the beginning of the program, actually, that based on the facts, based of the facts, and I quoted from the Constitution and Article 97, President Salva Kiir was elected as the president of the region of Southern Sudan that time. Okay? Within the former Sudan, within the former United Sudan, not as president of the independent of South Sudan. Now, if I may ask you this question to clarify to our viewers, to make them understand, what can you say to some South Sudanese citizen who believe that President Salva Kiir was elected as a president of the Republic of South Sudan? I quoted article on the Constitution that actually was elected as the president of the government of the region. And then when we reached to 2011 after the referendum, and then we voted overwhelmingly, 98.8%. Now, South Sudanese parties, including the SPLM, they said, okay, based on the Constitution, we will appoint this president to continue, and then election will take place in 2015. Now, what can you tell South Sudanese because they don't get this point? Who think President Kiir was elected as the president of the Republic? Go ahead.
Well, what I might remind my fellow South Sudanese at this point is that when the peace agreement was signed in 2005, there were provisions that were given by the peace agreement to, and one of these provisions is a protocol for people of South Sudan to make a decision either to remain in the Sudan or choose to be independent nation. And the process in the law or constitutive processes does expect of us that when you are elected, for example, let's look at the level of a student. When the student leadership is elected for that to run for that particular year, and also there's other group that is elected at the faculty level. For example, let's say the psychology student have elected their leader, and the other one and the commerce elected their leader. These are two different entities, but these two, if they are merged together, they become another different body as one. And that what was the situation for us? The people of South Sudan were in the Republic of Sudan as a citizen of the United Sudan. But when they were given the right to self-determination, it meant that they were given a small group within the four corners of the country. And in the country, we have East, West, North, and South. And that part of consistency in the country called Sudan was given the right to self-determination. That right to self-determination does not automatically make us a republic, and that's why we had to vote. When we voted and we chose to be an independent nation, then we need to have a new process, and the new process is to go through elections and elect the person who would meet our aspirations as a citizen at the time in the Republic of South Sudan, not in the Southern Sudan. As the people in the Republic of South Sudan, therefore, we will be required to say, what do we need? What are our priorities as citizens? We need drinking water, we need roads, we need this, because now the major thing which was already in our head has been taken out. And what is that one? That the major thing was independence of the Republic of South Sudan, I mean, of the people of South Sudan, which they got. Now, the new mandate, the president should have come and asked for it. But when the time came for the people of South Sudan to be given that mandate, the leadership, the SPLM leadership, chose to take the country to the war, irrespective of the President Salva Kiir having sworn that they will never take the country back to war. But unfortunately, it took us there because the SPLM government knew the message they have done, the corruption they have done. People have seen it. the promise of the liberation have not been implemented. And what are these the promise of the liberation? The promise of the liberation is that the people of South Sudan wanted to be free to speak. And freedom of speech is not foreign to the people of South Sudan. This is fundamental to their daily lives. You go even to the Dinka area where Salva Kiir is now is arresting the journalist, arresting the musician who have sung the song. One of the social mechanisms of keeping ethics in the society is for among the Dinka is for the young people to sing songs. If you do good things, they sing good things about what you've done. You've done wrong things, they sing them.
Correct.
And everyone will say, no, Kwaja Advocate, don't say these things. People sing song about us. That is a social way of preventing corruptions or social corruption. But here, the SPLM leadership under the Salva Kiir Maya has gagged the nation. You cannot speak your mind that they have made a wrong decision, that they have corrupted the country without you being punished. That's one of the things that they deviated from. We talk about equality in the nation, but this equality has been misunderstood by the government. The equality has meant enriching the fellow officials, dividing the money among themselves, leaving the vast territory of South Sudanese poor. That's not the equality. Prosperity for all is not the same thing as sitting in the office, enjoy electricity, benefits such like AC, such like cold water, and go back to your house, bill and supply to electricity, where the rest of the nation do not even get such things. That is not the equality the people of South Sudan fought for. That is not freedom that we fought for. The freedom is for the people to speak, but the SPLM is denying it. They all know that they have failed. You've heard from their words recently. They know that they have failed the people of South Sudan, and they do not want to give them the platform to cast the judge. To make judgment, official pronouncement of the judgment, that is voting them out. So they'll wait when the time comes, create war, and let them go to war and fight, and sign another peace agreement without intention to implement it. Another peace agreement signed and only put in the shelves, and they go in their own way. They take financial resources that the country has and use it for their own benefits and not put it into the implementation of the peace agreement, only to go to donors and say, give us money to implement peace agreement, or the donors are not giving us money to implement the peace agreement. The donors cannot give you the money that you're going to pocket. They can only give you the money that you're going to put in peace agreement. They've given you the money in 2015. You use it and took arm and fight yourself. You give you money in 2005. You took what the donor has and put them in the projects, and what the country produced, they take it and put it into their pockets. And this is how the project, when the donor pull out, you'll find that now, even in Musajwa Tajuba, there's no panel.
Yeah, and with that actually, even the Karen Artigono, they keep arguing that actually the donors, the peace grantors are not supporting us, are not bringing fund in. Well, how the fund is going to flow in if you have been asked to do certain reform? You are not showing certain reform. If they ask you that, allow people to speak their mind, you are not allowing them to speak their mind. You are arresting them. If somebody write an article, if somebody say something, it will be arrested. You know, you said that I'm going to do this. It is an obligation. The government have an obligation. If you said that I'm going to do a reform, financial reform, I'm going to pay salaries on time, I'm going to improve, the health facilities, I'm going to do this, and you are not doing it. What make me feel I'm going to donate, I'm going to give you more money, because you promised that you were going to do this. You are going to give this money, use them for the need of the people who are vulnerable, and you are not doing it. Now, the donors are hailing back, they are not paying money, and then they are complaining, they're saying that, they are not paying us money. That's why nothing is moving. Well, if you want to implement peace agreement, they ask you to put $100 million on the bank account. You did not do it. You did not do it. You just put $10 million and later 30, and I hear that $40 million. So they should stop arguing or crying that actually the donors don't want to help us. They impose sanction on us. Tongwanjang said, but you are not returning. You are not even giving any favor. You are not giving any favor to your people. How people are going to say, okay, well, we see that he's improving, let's give him a chance. But you are not improving anything. Ustaz, well, I want to go to the next question so I can give a chance to Emmanuel Wani because he joined us in the studio. Mm-hmm. According to what we have observed so far, President Salva Kiir is kept in corridors of power by National Legislative Assembly through extension. On the other hand, through political deals he signed with his political rival. On the other, no elections conducted. Those political development, what is the future democracy in South Sudan in that regard? And how long shall we continue, or shall the situation continue in this way in South Sudan?
To begin with, the future of the democracy in South Sudan is bleak as long as it is under the President Salva Kiir Mayar, because democracy does not make any sense when it's just a song for liberation, but it's nothing to be implemented. Just like the peace agreement that we are seeing today, they are not being implemented. And if you go critically to look into peace agreement that has not been incorporated into the constitution of the nation, as it has happened in 2005, you will realize that we are pricing in a vacuum that does not exist. You see, and doesn't show that there's no future in this. And also the future of the democracy is bleak under the current status quo because there has never been intention to let the country vote. And we see that in the process of what they're doing. Let me go further and mention something about, for example, the current political environment and the security environment in the country. You see people like in Rumbek, there's fighting all over in the states. There's fighting in Tony all over. There's fighting in Jangule, and all over. There's violence all over. And people are not using root weapons. They're using sophisticated machine guns. And where do the people get it from? They get it from the government. And the minister is simply saying the other day that we need to do disarmament within the law, and when possible, we'll use the force. How many times have we gone through this process of disarmament? It has been done 3 times in my village, but people still have the guns. Where do they get the gun from? The guns come from the government, and until the government addresses the psychological phenomenon behind the supply of guns, there would be no solution that will take the guns out of the people's hands. It has to begin with the SPLA itself. It has to begin within the organized armed forces by making sure that the gun they have is stored and nicely stored and doesn't find a way to the hand of the civilian population. I gave the example the other day. In Mopel, they were talking about 11,000 soldiers that they were feeding food, sending but when the war broke out and they needed reinforcement, they only get 1,100. And even that 1,100 did not have guns, all of them. Where did their guns go to? They sold it because soldiers go for 3 months without salary, go for 1 year. And let's look at also at this psychological aspect. I'm trying to say it here. Askari fidola Junubasudan Basraf, Alef Utultumiado Jinia, 1,300. The taxes take 300 away from it, and it's left with 1,000. If 1,000 pounds doesn't come in a year and only come later on in form of 3 months, that is 3,000 pounds. That Askari leave the child in the house, mind to happen. Is crying. Maybe that child is sick. Maybe his wife needs something to buy. What has happened? The soldiers who is not taken care of, Kadari, Fatima Shokol, go and beg, they end up selling guns.
Yeah.
The national security and the armed forces who feel that they are neglected and the people are fighting and the government is not protecting them, individual Bishil Asli, and take them to the community to protect them. And that's how the arms continue to get itself into the hands of the civilian. Unless such situation is addressed, arms will always be in the hands of civilians, and the fighting will always continue. Unless you regulate, reform the army and train them and put them in the barracks, they will always have guns outside. And you cannot go and force somebody to get the gun out. This is lack of approach. What is the way forward, therefore? The way forward is for the Europeans to come together and take this defunct system out through a popular uprising to be able to install a system that will bring them clean drinking water, bring the hospital, roads, health, that will protect the territorial integrity of South Sudan, because our territory is going in, out every day, taken by other countries. Because the system is weak. We don't have the government that can protect that. We don't have the regular army that has been well trained. Javelina Salakum Fashora, who cannot defend anything, but it has cost South Sudanese over $200 million. But it's blank, there's nothing in it. We have hospitals that are shells, there are no medicine, there are no beds. There are not even trained personnel to help our people. We have VA that do not have roads to be driven on. We need the people of South Sudan to come together, unite, and bring the change that will give them the freedom of speech, that will give them equality before the rule of law, that would set an investment program that will enable the citizen to prosper as a nation as a whole, and unite the nation such that we don't end up fighting among ourselves. This is the South Sudan we want, and this South Sudan cannot come under the status quo of today's government. It can only come if we put what divides us aside and unite to bring the change our people want. We want to build barracks for our army. We want the salary to come on time. We want them to move as a national army. Just like we all see the forces every day in uniform moving out. This is how they behave in their own country. They are trained, levels comes up, and they are very disciplined, and they are moving to where they target. They're not walking on the street on uniform. Our soldiers would walk with Safinjat, sun beat them thoroughly, they come back home depressed, starving, and sometimes they ending up like some of them already committed suicides because they could not bear the suffering they're seeing. You cannot see your child in the morning hungry, and you know yesterday she or he has not eaten anything, and you come back and without anything in your pocket, and you know that there's nothing you can give, and you're a father. Some of them took their lives because they've been subjected into the depressive condition. And this can be done away if we change the regime. We need to make sure that under the new entity that will come in, that our people get a clean drinking water, get the hospital treatment, that we don't spend our money in the foreign hospital, but we only treat. We have very good doctors. Like Taban has demonstrated in South Africa. South Sudanese was on the news when he was given the right opportunity to serve the people, the humanity. Our doctors have not been given the opportunity to serve the humanity within our country. They have not been given the opportunity to show what they can do. The same thing for our teachers. The same thing for our policemen. The same with the army. They love the South Sudan, but they are put in a condition that make it impossible to deliver. And this regime cannot do it, cannot give them what we should give them. Well, what they need to have, we need to bring the country forward.
Now, Ustaz Walatak, I want to give you the last question, as your last question here. The statement of response issued by the Minister of Presidential Affairs suggested the extension of the current transitional period so to implement the RSS. What is your reaction? And is President Kiir still legitimate? You know that he talked about how they need more time to implement peace agreement. I want to get your reaction on that.
There should be no extension to the peace agreement, not even the bipartisan agreement to extend it. Not let alone the individual party to extend the peace agreement in the name of seeking other elections. The bottom line is the people of South Sudan have already made a point in their national dialogue.
Yes.
That Jamadel, they're not willing to implement the peace agreement. They're not willing to take the country forward. Therefore, they are not the only citizen in the country, they let them go. And let us have the country back and put in the fresh blood who are people-centered,
Serious.
who are sympathetic with the views of the people of South Sudan and build the country. I'd say there should be no extension. Extension is not warranted. There's no reason for it, and there's no intention, even if it is given, that the parties would implement it. And mainly, I blame the government side more, because they control the financial resources, they control the power to appoint, they had controlled the power to take the peace agreement to incorporate it into the laws of the country, but they haven't done it. They're just simply moving with the trends of, we have peace agreement, which they are blocking the carpet, and they're not working with it. I therefore call on the people of South Sudan, the best option we have is to take them out through popular uprising. We will not see elections coming any day soon under this government.
Thank you. Thank you. Ustaz Attack is always good to have you on the program. With that, I think I want to give you a break, and I will go to Ustaz Emmanuel Wani. Welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan, and thank you for being patient. Again, to our viewers, please go ahead and make a share so we can reach a regular audience here to share this video along. Wani, welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. As you see, our discussion tonight, the J1 legitimacy between April 2010 and elections, civil wars, parliamentary extensions, and political deals. So the same question that I asked Ustaz Wal, it goes to everybody here. You know, I don't know if you read the statement by Minister of Presidential Affairs Nial Deng Nial, which is he argued and responded to the Dr. Peter Bierajak, who testified before the United States Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and how President Kiir has been appointed, and they don't care about democracy in the country, and he believes in its extension. Even the current peace agreement, they don't want to implement it. They want to go by. And you hear from our discussion here tonight that Nial Deng Nial actually suggested that they need more time to implement this peace agreement, but they had enough, because when this deal was signed on September 12, 2018, there was a frame, there was a timeline for this peace agreement to be implemented. I want to get your reaction, Wani. How do you analyze the statement issued by Nial Deng Nial, Minister of Presidential Affairs, in response to Dr. Peter Bierajak? And also, what is the legitimacy of J1? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, my brother, and all to viewers of Concerned Citizens of South Sudan. I don't want to, to enter into that reply from Nial Deng Nial, because I call it all is bias. There is nothing that is useful for the citizens of South Sudan. And what I can recall in that document is they want to retain their system, their powers in the country, because of their power, not because the people have appointed them, or people have really voted for them to be in a system, to be in a country of a nation, South Sudan. One, because why I call it a bias, because it is serve the interest of the system in J1 or in the regime that is in the nation of South Sudan. Not the bias. It is not helping any citizen. It's not helping anybody in that country of South Sudan. Why I call it bias is full of lies. It is not true even in that document that he has spoke about. Number two, you asked a question by saying that they need extension. My brother, these people started since September, actually since December 2018. We are already in 2021. What extension that they're requesting for. Because any extension that is requested for is the more they extend, the more our people are killed, the more innocent blood of the citizens of South Sudan. They have no chance. They always even, they cannot even have a time to talk about. So Nyal Deng is defending his position as a presidential advisor in our internal affair, in all that we know that. And then look to this. The more the extends, the more that the citizens are suffering. Look at this. Just before I go deep, look at what is happening in the country of our nation, South Sudan, right now. Look at the musicians, that the only way to pass their message to the government is through singing, so that the government will change. And these innocent musicians that are advocating for the citizens and for the people in the villages to know what the government is supposed to do for them, and you go and arrest these musicians, especially like our brother who was arrested because of the merely song, is passing the message and where the government is supposed to change. Look, the media houses in South Sudan. Look at the journalists in the nation of South Sudan. There is no speaks. There is no expression of speak. Actually, the news rooms in Juba, they're operating in the dictatorship regime of the Salva Kiir in Juba. They don't speak the right. Look, where is the citizen newspaper in South Sudan? Because they write the right things, they were shut up, they were closed. You go to iRadio, who is operating now in South Sudan. iRadio was right now, as we talk, they are not giving a good news. They always give what the government want them to do, to give up the news. The citizens are not feed with the right thing in our nation. You go to our SSBC, the national television of the nation of South Sudan, does not even give a right news to the citizen, and it is always restricted. And where is the freedom of speech? That's why the more they extend, the more our people suffers, and our people does not get right to know their right as a citizen. That is one. Two, here, something that I want to say here. We are living in the time where the citizens they do not know their right in the nation of South Sudan. Why I'm saying this? Yes, our brother Biar last time talked about the election. He talks about the election. There is not even any sign of election in Juba as we talk right now. No any official in the government is talking about the election in the country of South Sudan.
Because that's not their intent, actually.
Yeah. So, in my own view here, yes, we have a situation in the country where they keep on asking extension. These 3 years as we talk now, there is no any development in the country, where the areas where they collect the fuel, or where this community where they're getting the fuel, they are not even paid the revenue that is supposed to go to the local community, which is $85 million, which is not even given to that community. And this is a message to all people, the South Sudanese, that call that the Dingas are the people who are really enjoying the resources of the country, the owners of the land where this fuel, the government inject a lot of billions of thousands of money that they go and purchase with the weapons and come and kill the same community that give them a chance to withdraw the fuel, and they're not paid. There is one. Two, if this community are not favored, are these people after the life of South Sudanese? This is what we have to ask ourselves as the South Sudanese, as the 64 tribes of the nation of South Sudan. $85 million is not being given to the community, these 3 communities that are supposed to develop their areas. There is no infrastructure in our country, and we are talking about we are in peace. When we talk about we are in peace, where is the infrastructure in our country? That is one. Two, where are the medical health institute in the nation? Where are the roads? Where are the schools in our country? Before we believe that in this area of whatever is happening in our country, it is not all about the election people are calling about. We are calling about the election when the people are internally IDPs in your own country as a South Sudan. Even when you go to Juba right now, as you call for election, the Nuer and the Dingas and the few Equatorians, they are still rotting inside the IDPs in UN house in Juba. You go to Malakal, people are still afraid to come out. They are internally displaced in your own home. Even when you are calling for election in 2022 or 23, who are those people who are going to vote for Salva Kiir? Do you think it's not the right Salva Kiir with a few individuals who want to retain him in power? Is he not going to remain in that same seat? Who are those people who are going to vote? And the truth is, the citizens of South Sudan are not ready to vote for them. And this clearly the regime and the dictatorial regime of Salva Kiir in Juba knew that there is no South Sudanese, because there is no day I will walk out from the IDP and I go and vote for the person that does not care about me. And that's why they know very clearly that they do not want election, and because they even have no plan for this election, because if they have this plan of election, they could have formed a committee to work out with the UNHCR how the refugees will be repatriated back home for the election. But there is no any sign that they are thinking about that. That is one. We have a situation that is alarming in a Hakuma refugee camp, which is now we have 12 days that the government of Kenya has ordered the UNHCR to close the Kakuma refugee camp. Yesterday, I talked to one of the commander, the camp leader in Kakuma, how our own citizens of South Sudan are panicking. Where are they going to go? The country is still in war. A country has not favored them, and they are still thinking, how are they going? So this is something that, my brother, I want to really put it clear. It is for us to really believe that this peace, we have achieved it. We as the citizens of South Sudan, we need to put our heads together. No matter, one thing that I always call for the unity of South Sudanese, not disunity. Because when we talk about the unity of South Sudan, the whole 64 tribes comes together and says, I love what happened last time in Baragazal, where people went and demonstrated. This demonstration is not supposed to be, it's supposed to be a countrywide. But because people are not united, when other people are squeezed, and you are not supposed to allow the Baragazalian to protest alone, or the Nuer to protest alone. This is a call of a South Sudan, that we should believe that the legitimate government that really has a voice and protect his people. But we have a country that it is led by people who have the interest in their own self, not in the minority of the South Sudanese. People have talked about politics. I am not a politician.
Wani, I just wanted to remind our viewers here, Ya Jama, this system of StreamYard logging in, we don't call you. We just send you the link. So I send the link. So if Brother Bol will call, if you want to join the discussion, I already sent you the link. You just follow the prompt. You just click and follow the prompt until it, bring you here. So I don't have that ability to call you, but I will send you the link and you follow the process. As you follow the process, it will bring you to the studio. That's how it works. Go ahead, Wani. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, this government that we have in the nation of South Sudan, including from the chief up to the top level, these are people who have no heart for the citizens and for their own people who are suffering in the nation of South Sudan. So there is a call to all our youth in the nation of South Sudan. Let's not believe that this election that they are pushing them to do, it is a callful that we need to elect the president, and we need to walk to the station where we are, to the voting center. But this is not the right time that we are calling for this election. We are calling for the government to really implement the peace that was really, they have signed in 2018, and they stabilize our country. And we see that all the refugees all over the world in the nation of South Sudan, where they're scattered, they should be back, they will go back home. And the people in internally displaced people, they will be able to come back out through their own homes. Because as we talk right now, they talk about the peace. These people own the houses, but there are people putting on the military clothes, owning this house of these people who are in IDPs. And we are talking about people going to vote. How can you go and vote when you see there is a person putting on the uniform of a government is owning the house of the person who is in IDP, internally displaced? We talk about the peace that need to be implemented. How will you implement the peace when you never return that person in internal displaced home to his own home, and tell this person in the military clothes, in the military vehicle that is parked in that person's house, that how will be the peace return back to the country? We should ask ourselves as a South Sudanese, the peace that I have signed is not union. The peace that I have signed is not for all the South Sudanese. It's for individuals in the government and those who own the position in the SPLM. I always say that the SPLM government or the officials in the SPLM, because they have really smashed that political party with the I don't know how can I even call it, because they're full of full of robbers who are there. They're full of thieves who are inside that system, and then the few who are not even thieves, we have already put them all together. They have lost the respect that the citizens of South Sudan have. Point number 3, that letter that Nyal that he has come out with, that letter. There is something he quoted there that if I can remember, if I cannot record, is that when he recalled that he has covered all things that has never happened in the Blue House. Yes, because the testimony to Dr. Biar, I love what Biar says, and he came out and says that if they say that the White House is not killing people, let them produce Idris and Dong. He did not reply this letter.
If J1 is not
meaning, where is these people? If they want in that letter, why I said that letter is full of bias and full of lies. There is nothing out of that letter that is really capable. I believe that those people who received that letter, they will know, because one thing that he has given us, that the regime that is in the government in Juba, they are all supportive of the evil things that are happening in the country. These people were adopted from Nairobi, drive all away from the road from Uganda and enter to South Sudan. All this. And even there was a report that was released where they were murdered and where they were thrown. We all know that. And I also call for this Nyal to produce these people for us as a citizens of South Sudan, that these 2 men were not murdered in the hands of the Minister of Security in the nation of South Sudan. Point number 4. What do we do as a citizens of South Sudan when all this is not coming to pass? We need to come together.
Yep.
For those who says we don't want to move with the others that this and this, but I always say that our brothers who are hated this day in Juba, who are hated with all people who are in some of individuals who are in the refugee camp, I always say that we have a bad people in Equatoria, and we have a bad people in the in Nuer. We have a bad people in Dinga, in all the 64 tribes. We have a bad people, and does not qualify you to condemn an individual's tribe for all that is happening in the country of South Sudan. Actually, what am I trying to say? We have to condemn the people who are in the system right now. And that's what I have to say. The people who are in the government, we should condemn them, but we should not condemn this innocent Dinga who does not know anything. This Equatorian who does not know anything. Those Noel who does not know anything. We should condemn the people who are in the system. I always hear people say, there is an IO government, there is a Riek Machar government. Which government of Riek Machar is in Juba? They are all the same people in the system. They are the same people who are supposed to implement this peace because they signed this agreement that they are one people. And this should be we as the Equatorian, and a general Equatorian, and the greater Baragazal and greater northern Baragazal. Let's come together. Let's put our heads together. And I want to call to Mama Rebecca. And my call goes to Mama Rebecca and to Mary Ayen and even to Angelina. Let us look at the suffering of these women who are begging in the street of Juba. Even when they drive themselves in the black tinted V8, let them, even they can see what is happening out. Go to the site of Melekia right now in Juba. Look at how these women are begging in the street of Juba. Look at the woman who is suffering and internally displaced camp in UN camp in Juba. He's even fearing of her life to come out to buy something in the market. Are you really a mother? Speak to your husbands. Speak to these leaders who are the one leading our country. You women who are married to the people who are in the system. If that child that is suffering in the street is your own child, that woman who is having a food, who has no access to a medical care, that has no access to school, if it is your own, it is a time for you to embrace this time as a South Sudanese. 64 tribes together, let's come. When it is a protest, whether it's in northern Baragazal, I believe people in central Equatoria should also join. People in Equatoria should join. They will not, I always tell people that this gun that we see in Juba, when we all have one voice and we march in the street of Juba, they will never kill us all. They will never kill us, all of us. The few that will remain will testify in the court of law. Because even as the citizen and the minority people in the nation of South Sudan are not favored. But I believe that we are going to return our nation back. And no time to be extended, my brother, for that call that they need extension. The more they call for the extension, the more they need money. And then I need to put something about this thing about the money, that the international communities are not giving us money. And then the citizen is not giving us money to implement the peace agreement. Where is the budget that they always pass in the parliament? You had the budget that is passed of 1,000 billion of South Sudanese, billion of US dollar. Where is this money going? Where is the resources of the country going? Where is the money of our fuel going? If this money is not supposed to stabilize the peace that they have signed in our country, you ask money for the peace implementation. You have been given the money to implement or for security implementation. Where is this money? The money that always comes goes to the pocket of individuals in the system of the Salva Kiir. And one thing that I always say is that we will come here and we condemn Salva Kiir, but there are few individuals in the system. They are devisers. Then they put him down and they loot the resources of the country. Yet they have now brought a very big investor, which is the Chinese. He's going to loot the country. He's going to take all the resources in the country, where the president that will come to the nation of South Sudan will not able to even pay the loans that have collected in the World Bank. And this is going to be a burden to the citizens of South Sudan. As I conclude by saying this, my call is to all these politicians: stop using our youth for their own interests. Stop using people of South Sudan for your self-interest when you are not there for the interest of the South Sudanese. Because of your selfish interest in the nation of South Sudan, our youth have been done. Our youth has been killed in the war line, in the front line, where they were not ready because of your self-interest. You go to the villages, you tell them, come, we are going to put our country back. When you fail, you go and negotiate with Salva Kiir, and then after you negotiate with Salva Kiir, you'll be given that position, and you'll forget about the innocent youth of the nation of South Sudan. You are killing the nation of South Sudan. You thought that you are grooming them and you are bringing them to fight to defend the country, but you are bringing them to defend your interests, and in the end of the day, you leave them. How many people have died in Rajab in the training wing? Others died because of no health. Others died because there is no food for them to eat. And this is a call to all eminent politicians. I am not a politician, but I speak as a servant of God. Stop using the innocent blood of the citizens of South Sudan. That you go, after that you got given the position in the country, and then you will sit in that office. You don't even think about them. Then the government call them rebels. They call them whatever they call them, and they go and flush them in the way you have left them. And then we have lost the doctors of the nation of South Sudan. We have lost the pilots, the engineers in that war. And I appeal to every politician: do not use your dirty politics to kill the nation of South Sudan. Do not use your dirty politics to kill the innocent blood of the youth of the nation of South Sudan. My call to all youth: resist when they come to you. Resist them, because they have no vision for our nation. They have no vision for our nation. They have a vision for their pocket. Look, where are the soldiers at this Machonganyon? They are suffering, others are collecting bottle kirisalat fi Juba. When they go and convince the elders in the communities that we are sending them to school, and then coming to Juba, they employ them as a soldier. And then here they are left like this. They have nothing to do. They are collecting kirisalat fi Juba. They are working. How can even a soldier walk into that? And this is all to our soldiers. As I conclude, how can we blame these soldiers? And I want to put this clearly. We blame these soldiers. You work for 1,000, maybe it is a big money, it's 1,500 South Sudanese pounds. How much is a sack of maize flour in Juba? How much is a bucket of beans, a basin of beans in Juba? You work for 3 to 6 months. You're given a salary. I remember what happened last time. In December, these people worked for 8 months. They were not paid their salary. And then when the press came, they get their one salary for 1 month, and they ask, don't forget about that. Remember, this is a man who has a child. He has a children. He has a house. He has a relative to take care of them. And now the man worked for 9 months, 6 months. He's not paid a salary. What do you expect for this soldier to do? We expect insecurity in the country. We expect insecurity in the roads of our country. As we talk right now, there is fighting all over the country of South Sudan. And people does not look to that. It is a time for us to come together. I'm calling to our brothers, our soldiers, to respect the rule of law. Let them not turn their gun to the civilians. Let them not turn their gun to the innocent people. Let them turn this gun to the government. That is the one recruiting them. It's not the innocent civilians. So I have a lot to say. As I conclude, let's remain with the one spirit. The spirit of saying enough is enough. Let it go and we start a new chapter. Let's come together as a united South Sudan, a united 64 tribes of the nation of South Sudan. We said today Salva Kiir will go. Riek Machar will go with the dictatorship people, and the system all will go. But the SLM party will remain for a new people who are not looters, who are not robbers, who are not killers. Will take this country to another level. And we say that the South Sudan is bigger than Salva Kiir. South Sudan is bigger than Riek Machar. South Sudan is bigger than those people who are in the system. South Sudan is big for us, and we have to put our vision together and to unite South Sudan together forever, and we will remain South Sudan. Wherever we'll go, we'll be proud as a South Sudanese. We say this election is not, to me, and in my own opinion, this election is not going to be something that we are calling for. We are tired. The election is not going to help us. We need our people to come back. We need our people to be repatriated, to be taken back home. Let them prepare the ground in the nation of South Sudan so that our people will be happy and they can vote for the leader that they need to take them ahead. And it is not of whole that you are calling for election when people in IDP, when our people in Kakuma are crying right now. They don't know where they're going to go. Others are saying we better die when the Kenya government want to kill us. Let them kill us here. Now let all people hear about this testimony. And we are calling for election. We are calling for the peace to be implemented. We need to go home. Our people need to celebrate like the way we celebrated in 2011. We celebrated. Most of the time when I come, I regretted the day I wake up at 6 a.m. and I walk to the polling station to vote for separation. It is a shame to our government. It's a shame to the people in the system. May God bless you. May God bless South Sudan, and may God unite us as a South Sudanese, not as a tribe, not as a tribe, because when we unite as a tribe, the tribe will kill us as South Sudanese. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel Wani. So phenomenal, phenomenal. I really, really appreciate you coming in and speaking the words that matter most. And I keep saying this, the words that matter most. South Sudanese need that unity to come together. Because if we are together, the Bible said, if you are all together, you can move the mountain. We do. We can move that Tagia out if we are all united together. We can move all this, thugs of J1. We will be able to do it. Thank you for a spirit of patriotism. Thank you for being so nationalist. You have shown more. Thank you, Wani. And please,
thank you.
Stick around.
Thank you.
And we will continue.
Thank you.
Moses, welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. I know today we start a little bit late. We shall continue a little bit here because I will give it I was giving it 2 hours and then we call a day. But I can give it more, another 30 minutes and we go from here. So thank you so much for joining us. And I know a lot of South Sudanese are watching this very important, topic tonight as we are continuing our discussion. The J1 legitimacy between April 2010 elections, civil wars, parliamentary extension, and political deals. Young Again said, Salva Kiir does not believe in
extension.
He believes on extension and extension. And yes, this is how he has been ruling the country because he knows if country is stable, if stability comes to South Sudan, people are registered, permanent constitution, draw in a district so we can know exactly who we will send to the National Legislative Assembly. He will be defeated. And he does not want to be defeated. He wants to die in power. Said this 4 years ago, and I keep saying it. Salva Kiir Mayardit wanted to die in power. That is his legacy. That's what he thinks is the legacy. That's his dream, to die in power. Not to deliver any services to the people of South Sudan. That's what it is. That's why they signed deal and they don't implement it. They did it in 2015, they did it in 2018, and they called for reunification and nothing. They called for national prayer, nothing, because when you pray and you have a dirty heart, you are not even thinking about God, and you just want to say, oh, so people can know that actually I'm in the right track and I'm doing the right thing. Nothing is going to happen, because actually it's a lie from the beginning, right? You fly 3,000 miles away to go to Vatican, to go and Pope can kiss your feet, begging you, please bring stability to your people. They are dying. I'm not kissing your feet because you are a great guy with a black hat. No, I'm kissing your feet so you can feel that I am trying to be humble. So you look into those poor, those who are dying every single day. Your people. You know what people ask me, Moses, say, oh, South Sudan has a tribal violence, communal conflicts. And I said, it's not a tribal. It is not a tribal. It has been categorized that as a tribal, but actually the leaders, the elites of South Sudan are the one that fueling this, grouping, you know. So when people of South Sudan fight along clans, those they
get
can
extension.
Yeah, they get extension and they will be more empowered. So that has been engineered by those who are in power. So it's not just people of South Sudan are peace loving. Look, they are peace loving since 1947. They don't fight among themselves. They wanted to be separated. They want to be independent since 1947, but they were deceived that actually after independence of Sudan, we are going to look into your affairs. Just please come along. And they said, okay, they trusted their brothers in the north. But later, our Sudan gained independence. They lie. They lied to them. And they did not. They ignored whatever, you know, they agreed upon in 1947. And that's why 1954-55 liberation is started. And again, agreement was signed in 1972. And again, Jafar Mohammed Nimere, you know, violated that peace agreement. And again, we have to bear the arm and go and fight for liberation movement in 1983. And our own brothers, after all this struggle, we want to be a first-class citizen. We don't want to be marginalized. We want to have a good economy. We want to have freedom. We want to have justice and liberty and prosperity. Our own brother decided, you know what? I spent 38 years. 22.
I'm getting some attacks and calls. Please, thank you. I would like.
Sure, I'll give you a chance. And now it is my time. Since I spend most of maybe quarter of my life fighting, why not, ya Jama? I want to eat. I want to be in power. I want to die on it. Zema, say something and I will never forget. SSBC Galo, why do you guys want to build a temporary refinery? The tech Yausal Kalamda Tech Ubur from SSBC Galo, we don't want to build something for 50 years. By that time, we all will be gone. I was so sad when I hear that. You will be gone, yes, because now if you are 50, if you are 70, you cannot live 120. You may die quicker or you may leave. Yes, you will die. You are not going to be around. But what about those young, your son, your daughter, your grandchildren, your children? You need something permanent for them. They don't see that. They see here something for them. So thank you so much, my dear brother, for coming on and adding your perspective. I want to give you a chance to go ahead and weigh in. Go ahead. Pardon. Oh, you muted yourself, actually. I cannot hear you. We cannot hear you. Ima, we cannot hear you, my brother. I hope unmute or something wrong with the system there. I don't see you being unmute here. You are not muted. Yeah. Exit and come back. Exit and come back. Because we don't hear you at all. Do you guys hear him? Does anyone hear him? Thumb up, please, if you hear him. Where? No, I cannot hear you. And people don't hear you. You see, they said no, they cannot hear you. No voice, yes. So go ahead and come back, my brother. Go ahead and come back, and then we move on from here. Let me go ahead and do this. As I said, we have struggled more than enough. But our brothers, our uncles, they don't see that. They don't see that. And the interesting thing, they are complaining. They said, oh, the donors don't give us money. Al-Mujtama Dawli ma gadi dina grush. Yaki, you have a product, you are producing oil, you are selling it. Sell the oil, bring the money, diversified economy, use that money for agriculture, locally. Do that. Do that. Bring stability in the country. Ashan invest it yeji. Don't create war. Matak budnas. Amal share. Ashan tours to come to the country. When the tours are coming to the beautiful land of South Sudan, they will spend money in hotels, in transportation, in food, and then the local are employed. The local are working. Yes, here we are. So welcome back, my dear brother. Go ahead and make your contribution here.
Well, Osad Jonkor Mayol agreed all the concerned citizens of South Sudan who are watching back home and who are watching in diaspora.
Go ahead.
I will just go straight to the point. The people, the suffering people and the deprived people of South Sudan are sick and tired of Tom and Jerry movie of SPLM. People are sick and tired of Tom and Jerry of SPLM. It is a never-ending movie. But we cannot play with people's life. And if you talk about legitimacy, I would just like to ask General Honorable Nial Deng Nial, who wrote a letter to USA. Your letter to USA as a government, not as you as a person, is not going to change the political stance of the United States of America towards South Sudan. Full stop. That letter is not going to satisfy the suffering people of South Sudan. We are dissatisfied with what is happening in the country. And to go straight to my point, I have actually posted on my social media page yesterday. I've asked a question, what is legitimacy to J1? Before we go ahead, because we are dealing with people who are highly intellectual than us, and some who are in the middle, and some who don't even know what is legitimacy, but they are suffering. They have a cause. They really need to see the change. And I would like today to introduce some political terminologies in our politics of South Sudan. The people in J1, the top leaders of SPLM, these top leaders of SPLM, they are political demons of South Sudan. They don't care about the future of South Sudanese, the ordinary people. What they care about is how much somebody can loot.
Moses.
Yes.
Actually, there is a very good statement.
I can read it as you speak. As you speak of extensions of the transition. The bad news is that the government is incomplete. Which government are you talking about?
No, just read. It's a very good statement, actually.
No, the executive is completed from country to the national level. The parliament is not reconstituted. The judiciary is not reformed and refined. I can't see that.
Its slowness of implementation is real. The reason of delay is mainly due to the lack of commitment, trust, and confidence among the parties' leaders in the presidency. The Artigonal. Lastly, I want to remain the speaker that Artigonal is slave more. And then,
you would like to remind me that there would be delays. There would be extensions.
So what Uncle Ando said actually is telling the truth. And as Uncle Ajo is telling the truth, that actually the judiciary is not reformed, the government is incomplete, no legislative. The presidency, which is executive, is complete, but parliament is not complete, and there is no judicial in the country. He's telling the truth. And also he's saying that all this, the slowness of this, why it is slow, is because lack of willingness, lack of trust among.
There is no political will. There's
Yeah,
no political will.
And that's why I'm saying that, my dear Uncle Aldo Ajudeng, as an elder, that's the time that you and others who are elder in the country, you've been in politics for very long, to put more pressure. So this principle, Dr. Riek Machar, President Salva Kiir, they are not willing, and we know that they are not willing, and they will never be willing to cooperate. So people of South Sudan, Yemshi Liberal Aman, they will not. And we have seen it, you have seen it, I see it, and many continue to see it. Put something together, and as elders with others, for them to exit, as stated on the national dialogue, that if South Sudan is to move forward, and then President Kiir, Dr. Riek Machar, they have to step out of political life. That's clear. So do that, my dear, beloved Uncle Aldo Ajudeng. You will do it. And if you do it with other elders in South Sudan, South Sudanese will appreciate it, and they will know that you care about them. And you care an elder. Because Kiir and Riek, they will never work together. And South Sudan will not be fine as Kiir and Riek are in charge. Thank you. Go ahead, Moses.
Yes, I would just like to go straight. What is legitimacy? General and Honorable Dr. Nyal William Deng Nyal. Legitimacy is the belief that the system of government is the best one for the people in the country. It is the best one for the country. Is the system that we have now the best one for the people of South Sudan? No. Morally, is it morally and justifiable? Does it deserve allegiance? Does the revitalized government deserve allegiance of the citizen of South Sudan? No. So legitimacy has levels. Whether Nyal Deng Nyal was talking about traditional, he need to come and explain to people. What do you mean by President Kiir is legitimate? Kiir is not a legitimate president. Full stop. You are ruling the country based on gun and the looted oil money and non-oil revenue and the borrowed money in the name of our people, plus they stolen aid money for billions. So you have control the government. I'm talking about the government of President Kiir. They have controlled the 4 major sources of income in the country: the oil money, the non-oil revenues, the loan money that they are borrowing, that this generation and the next generation are going to pay in the future. You know, they are looting our future even. SPLM government of President Kiir and Dr. Riek Machar is looting our future and our present. And they have looted the aid money. Is that what is legitimacy in the perspective of my brother, Honorable Nyal Deng Nyal? No. That is called looting, a daylight robbery. It's not even stealing.
Yeah, go ahead. Continue.
So what I can say, let me go to details. I would like Jawan and anyone in Blue House right now to understand that the people of South Sudan that are suffering are sick and tired of the political game of the SPLM. What the SPLM A to Z. This Tom and Jerry game must stop. We, the people of South Sudan, will cast you out of Jawan. These political demons of South Sudan, we will cast them out from Jawan through popular uprising. Through popular uprising, they have to go home. Otherwise, we will not give any allegiance to this public thieves government, whatever name you give it, whether you call it revitalized, you call it whatever name you are going to give. We, the people, are not going to buy your license to steal our future. People, I just need to answer question. And that's what I can say. Charles, I greet you, Charles Deng.
Thank you.
It is great to see you. So Usad Jonkor, there is nothing called legitimacy. Legitimacy, if you look in terms of performance of the economy, they are not performing well. Economics performance can give you a legitimacy. They got zero performance in terms of economics. Whether hyperinflation, whether employment, the people who are employed, they cannot even pay them. And this is what I'm telling to the people in South Sudan. This is called modern slavery. If you work for 6 months and you are not paid, and somebody is paying himself in dollars, people like General Akolkor, they refuse South Sudanese pound as their salaries.
Yep.
They never get it as their salaries. President Kiir never get paid in pound, South Sudanese pound. He has money. He has billions of dollars. Even, I don't know whether people have a short memory or not. President Kiir and Akol, they have destroyed South Sudan. Nothing called that President Kiir has been spoiled. There are people that are making, listen to me. President Kiir has a deal with the business people and Tutkel. I don't hate Tutkel as a person. He's a great person. He's a South Sudanese. We are not going to take him out. But General Tutkel has a secret deal. He knows the password, what button to press to make President Kiir to make a presidential decree in the country. Imagine. People who fought with the President Kiir for 21 years, they have to go to Tutkel to pray for Tutkel first. You need to pray for Tutkel. Go look at Sartelit. Text Sartelit, Ben Tutkel, I need to see Kirit. And then he will take you to the house or the office of President Kiir. At his mercy, at his own mercy. These are the liberators. Imagine one of the generals that is highly respected, though is corrupted, but is highly respected, has to go to Tutkel to beg Tutkel to see President Kiir after 1 or 2 years of not being able to see President Kiir. And when Tutkel asked him, when do you want to see President Kiir? He said, anytime. He said, okay, get into my car. Took him to President Kiir, and President Kiir was surprised. And the general that cried before President Kiir was Honorable James Dod Mai. Imagine if this SPLA think they are valid. If Nyal Deng Nyal think you are still valid, or your President Kiir is still legitimate, why do you need James Dod to beg General Tutkel to see President Kiir? Why don't you value this man's contribution in the liberation? How much did James Dod Mai contribute compared to Tutkel in the SPLA? It's just a drop of water in an ocean. So please release Larson Angok. You Tutkel and Akol Kor and Salva Kiir, you have arrested Larson Angok for saying the truth. You will be sick and tired of arresting everyone in South Sudan. You will arrest, but you will not arrest the truth. So there is nothing called legitimacy in Juba. What we have in Juba is they have imposed themselves on the neck and the head of the people of South Sudan. Because of guns, they make the young people to drink, send them at night to kill people as a non-gun people. They deprive people from their own salaries that they deserve to be given so that you can come and beg them. Okay? They have used all tricks to control the people, to make people fear. They don't even talk about economics. They don't even talk about political culture or social structure that are being destroyed in the country. They just believe in the history. Epan we have liberated this country. Listen to me. This is my message to the people of South Sudan. If you are not sick and tired of the public looters, I, Moses Makir Kinchuk, I am sick and tired of Tom and Jerry game of the SPLM government. Don't tell me Gundeng has said that you get a legitimacy to be the vice president. The people are suffering. Even Gundeng will not accept the people of South Sudan to suffer, like the way Dr. Riek Machar has surrendered. This is called surrender. Legitimacy means there must be an opposition, active opposition in the country. Do we have any active or unactive opposition in the South in the government of South Sudan? No. So what legitimacy are you talking about? You have no active opposition that is operating. Even the parliament has been silent with $40,000 and the other deal that they are getting at home. Okay? We don't have a government. What we have is just a gang, crooks, who are ready with guns to kill anyone who is saying the truth and to destroy their character assassination. But this is what I'm saying to J1 and Blue House. If you can destroy the people of South Sudan using lies, akazib, we the people can destroy you using the truth. We will never use lie to destroy you, but we will use the truth. You are using lies to destroy us. So these political demons in J1 that have given themselves license to rape, to kill, to threaten people, and think that they are the future of the country. No way, no way. If we have such future that look like Turkel with the President Kir and Nakolkur, then we don't have a future in South Sudan. That is a dark future. We, the people of South Sudan, we have potential to change Africa, let alone South Sudan, let alone a country that is twice Japan. We can change the whole continent of Africa. So all these lies that there is legitimacy, people has to support President Kiir because it was elected. In 2010, in April, when President Kiir went and voted, what nationality President Kiir can do to jinsia? Made jinsia to Sudan. The passport that President Kiir was using was the passport of Sudan. The question is this: if you still believe in legitimacy, why would President Kiir change his passport right now? Why didn't he use the passport of Sudan? So if your passport has expired, why are you not believing that your election in 2010 has already expired with your passport, diplomatic passport, and with your nationality, Sudanese nationalities? Why are you using South Sudanese nationality and the passport of South Sudan right now? So this is all nonsense. Kiir has even forgotten where is the passport that he used when he was the vice president of Bashir. Everything has gone with independence. Whether your passport that you use to travel with, whether your Jinsia Batak, Jawaz Batak in Tahat expired. Why not this election? This election has expired with your passport. Now you are using the South Sudan passport. Okay? You are giving people visas in embassies. Before you have no right to give people visas to go to South Sudan. So this selective legitimacy of the one, we are not going to buy it. It is completely rubbish. We know, we the people, we know you are looting the country in the name of a fake legitimacy. People are dying, and if you cannot save the people, then there is no legitimacy. If you don't have an opposition in the national parliament to challenge you, then there is no legitimacy. If you are not performing economically well, then there is no legitimacy. What legitimacy are you talking? My brother, Nial Deng Nial, this is not watching Arsenal. I know Nial is not interested in politics. He likes watching sport. He barracks to Arsenal. I love Chelsea. Yes, Arsenal is a good team. But my dear brother, we are dealing with people's life here. Nothing to do with your father's legacy. Nothing to do with the Kolkor guns. Nothing to do with Kir Mayadit. We are talking about the future of the people that went and voted in referendum. And those people need to be respected. Their vote need to be respected. If you cannot respect it, you are just a public looter. And we will deal with you accordingly. We will make sure that the world knows that the people of South Sudan are under modern slavery. Where you work, no salary. The women are being abused to the point that President Kir's mother has never been abused like that. Nial Deng Nial's mother is here with us in Melbourne. Okay? Nobody has ever abused her. We respect her. Imagine what is going on in Juba right now and in other states. When this SPLM, the top corrupted, the political demons, look at women, they don't look at women in terms of ideas, what a woman can offer. They look at women in terms of to sleep with them. Is that the legitimacy that you are telling us? That's rubbish. We need a country where women are respected, because the human history is the history of ideas. The difference between human beings and animals is ideas. What ideas are you offering in the last 15 years? Any positive idea? No. So legitimacy comes from having great ideas for the people, serving the public interest of the people. What public interest are you serving? You, the public thieves of SPLM. You, the crooks of Blue House. These national security that are busy selling out gas. Financial security, bemshi yukun fi trumba, sell gas. Is that amni? This is nonsense. This is rubbish. We have better people that can do the job for the people of South Sudan. Not these public thieves that wake up at 2 a.m. to control gas I couldn't become. This is not national security. You will go peacefully. We are not calling for violence. It is you that is calling for violence so you can have extension. Say that we cannot make election, there is insecurity that you yourself you have created in the country. This country of South Sudan has great minds that the world can respect. What has President Kir or Dr. Nial Deng Nial said about our refugees that are suffering now? Of course, Kenya, when Kenya يكون فرسان بيشوف جيبه كده وكان بتوع ما في قروش بيمسك في جنوبي. All they are doing, they just need money. They need money because they know our people, their hand has been tied back by the illegitimate government in Juba. Now the UN, the people that have faith in humanity will give money to Kenya, and then Kenya will stop deporting our people. What did Dr. Nial or General Nial or Akolokor or President Kir or Dr. Riak wrote any letter to Kenya to stop what they are doing? The whole money of South Sudan is in Kenya, and Kenya is not yet satisfied. The central bank of South Sudan is in Kenya right now, as I'm speaking with you. The central bank that you see in Juba is just a rubbish. It's a house for making deals. The real central bank of South Sudan, Kir and Akolkur, has established it in Nairobi. So our oil money has to go to Nairobi. That's why when Nairobi, when Kenyan government say we are not releasing money, Kir has to say that is a declaration of war. What declaration of war? Because you are political demons.
Yes.
Why would you put your central bank in Kenya or Uganda or Sudan? Put it in Juba there. If you cannot build Ramchel, Abelalier has done his job. He has built Juba. Put that money in Juba. Let somebody come and loot them. You can't steal. Ya kana mali git fi dunia de. Zol marab top yamul akil, biesreg akil, yemshi wadi bedjeran. Baden yemshi akul enak fi bedjeran, o yalo marab top tabanin. Imagine. You know, the people of South Sudan has given you all the resources, oil money, non-oil revenue, given you a license to borrow money in their names, okay? And with the suffering and the great mind, Dr. John, the CPA, that he has given to the people, has attracted the international community to release $4 billion US dollars. And you have stolen it. And then he'll come here and say, please, Kanita Shil Gruida, Greta Raja Gruida, we will forgive you. Come on. You can only understand when we talk here on Facebook, you know it. But when somebody steals money in your office, you don't know it. This is rubbish. We are better than that. We are better than that. Bring back the central bank from Kenya, put it in Juba. You cannot allow Kenya to bully our people as refugees. Now Kenya want money. They already control your stolen money. They want money from international community. Soon, they will be given billions of dollars to leave our refugees. Imagine. Why is Nial Deng Nial not coming? Where is the Tenwek, this little political demon? Why are you not going to Kenya? Talk to Kenyan to stop bullying our people. But because you people in Jawan, you love to humiliate our people. You thrive when people are suffering. You thrive when people are crying. You don't know. The best brain are in that refugee camp. The best brain are in Cairo. The best brain are in refugee camps. People who can be the best doctors, can be the best biologists, the best brain to help the world. You are allowing them to die in refugee camps. And you are not saying anything. And when Peter Biar comes and share his testimony to the world, you have time and gut to write a letter. That letter is invalid. It is just a letter كتبوها هناك في عراق hotel في خرطوم. تا مجرمين ديل just بيصوروا حاجات بيجي في دكان بس أول you know when you open دكان the first row يا بتشوف كله مليان سكر ورا هناك فاضي يلا جلابة يدفع قروش جلابة يجي بعربية nothing مخزن ما مليان.
Moses, I have a question actually before I let you go, so I can.
Ask me, and I would like to give my brother Charles Deng a chance. But this talk, ask me, Ustad Jonko.
So the statement of response issued by Minister of Presidential Affairs suggested the extension of the current transitional period so as to implement RCS. I want to get your reaction because they keep extending and making extension every time. So I want to get your reaction on that extension because now it's not people of South Sudan are the one that delayed implementation of RCS that was signed on September 12, 2018. It's the same government. And now they are turning around asking for another extension to implement peace agreement. And we asked this question before. How much time does J1 really need, to implement peace agreement?
Yes, Ustad Jonkor, thank you for that question. People in J1 are not honest. They have no personal character as leader because leadership is about personal character, teamwork, and vision. They have no idea about what legacy means. That is the ultimate dream of any leader in the world, to leave a positive legacy, as Dr. John has left his legacy, as Honorable Maulana Abdul left the legacy of that parliament, that capacity of the parliament that Abdul left. 550 members of parliament will not even fit in that Abdul legacy. That parliament in Juba is Abdul legacy. Extension is a license to loot our public money, a license to go and borrow money in the name of our people and come and, take it tax them. Kir and his business people, fake business people like Kurajing, they are the one destroying the country. Kir will say, okay, I need this parliament has to, to come in. The parliament will threat President Kir that even they threat us. When I was in the National Ministry of Finance, they threat us not to, that the budget will not be approved unless we pay them some incentives. Imagine. These are crooks. They are just liars. So the Minister of Finance has to work hard to bribe them so they can pass this fake, budget. And at the same time, Kir will give them $40,000. And I respect Dr. Lualachek. He wants to say, let's pay the people, the public servant, in terms of dollars. If we are paying MPs in dollars, why not paying Junubin, Masakin, Shagalin, who was around the dollar? And he was really facing tough challenge, and including Dr. Atim Garang. You see, he's a nationalist. I have my respect for him. But all the other crooks, what they think, you find them busy with Arabat in Juba, just thinking of how to loot oil money or non-oil revenue. Okay? So extension is a license for President Kir and General Akolkor and Dr. James Waniga to loot the country. When the Kir goes and Wanikam or Awanakot or whoever, or Nyal Deng Nyal, the same corruption is going to continue. So these political demons, we don't need to give them more extension. You parliament, if you give them extension, then we will know you are just robbing us. You are robbing us. You are just robbers. Okay? And if I'm saying what I'm saying in Juba, يمشي يشيلوا ولد واحد من MI ولا National Security يسكروه بمريض يقول له امشي, jump into his house, kill him at night. That's what you are good at. You're not good at building hospital. You're not good at making election. You're not good at making census. Okay? You're not good at making executive to work or legislative branch of government to work or making, judiciary to work. You are not good at anything. You are only good at looting money and abusing women. Full stop. So an extension in the mind of President Kiir and those public thieves in Juba is just a license to loot more oil money. It has nothing to do with peace implementation. We can give extension until Jesus Christ comes. They will never do anything. They will continue to loot the money. And if you sing a great song like Larson and Ngok, they put you in jail. So these people, these political demons, has to go through peaceful means. Because if we call for violence, that will give them a never-ending extension. A never-ending extension completely. So these people, they are not nationalists. They could be nationalists in the past, but right now, what can destroy human being in the world is money and power. And they have already completely surrendered to the power of money and the leadership. They have nothing to offer to the people of South Sudan except lies. Where is my Nasib Makunlwet? Why is he not talking to Kenyan government? Why do you have to be very strong or release a strong statement when somebody is touching President Kiir? Why are you not releasing a strong statement to challenge Kenya? Because you put your central bank in Nairobi. I am Suguk Mahal Biojak, and you keep quiet like what you are doing in Jawan. I would like to give other people a chance And I'm here to answer any question.
Yeah.
There is no legitimacy. Extension is a license to loot our resources and to defer our future. As the people of South Sudan, these institutions are not legitimate. They are, imagine, look at national security. Is it a legitimate institution that is serving the people interest? No. It's just serving the bang, these psychopaths politics. So, Charles, you have a lot to say, and I'm here, and I will listen, and I may come back and answer a lot of questions.
Thank you.
We don't have a government in South Sudan. These are public looters. Thank you.
Thank you,
You
Moses.
people, we need to kick out these political demons through popular uprising. That is the solution. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's always good to have you, my dear brother Moses Makir. You weigh in, very important perspective. Charles Deng, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being part of Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. Again, you know, we started a little bit late because things were not going well today. I see my brother, you know, has a show as well. But Charles, yeah, I want to invite you to go ahead and weigh in. Welcome.
Yes, let me say thank you. Are you hearing my voice?
Yeah, move a little bit to that way.
This way?
We are hearing you.
Yeah, this way, yeah.
Deng, but
Okay.
just adjust yourself to the camera. Thank you.
Be in the middle.
All right, thank you. Anyway, thank you, Brother Junko. Also, let me say all the speakers, Walata, Wani, Brother Moses here. Well done. I've been listening since those hours, and you have put a lot of input, a lot of pressure. You highlight people on many things touching people. Also, Junko, I want to thank you also for the show you did yesterday in Dinka language, you and Dengi Dayog and Marwil. It is so wonderful, brother. I was at work midnight. That is so good, believe me or not. You know, this is, hopefully you keep it up, unless you come out once a month in Dinka dialect language, that will be helpful.
We will.
You know, this is so good, wonderful, a lot. I'll give you so credit for that, guys. It's so amazing. Legitimacy. I think you talk about this show in 2018. If you go back on your videos,
I did, yeah.
Yeah, you talk this, and you got a lot of people came in so much hit on this. What I can say over here, it's not because people don't know exactly election was not conducted. That's not the issue. Our people interest to become more higher than anything else. So as long they see the green in their accounts, or they see the green coming to their life, they would deny everything, Junko. So that kind of the people, let them keep their election. 2010, everybody know that we were not even Republican. We were, government of South Sudan.
Southern Sudan, yeah.
Yeah, so we were not a country. So that election, it was not bad. We can say it was good because it is a pathway to show us that we are moving to a democracy. And also, I will thank Dr. Lam for stood it up, to contest, because at that time nobody was willing to contest with the President Kiir, but Dr. Lama could encourage himself and he contest, even though we feel short, but that was good, that was so good. It will tell that, okay, in 2015, when we get independent, the South Sudan will have a very good, fair election. But unfortunately, things happen. Junkur, there are two things in the country. There's a problem of the SPLM, and there's a problem of South Sudan. We the citizen, we are different. SPLM problem is their own problem. I'm not talking about the SPLA. I'll thank you, those of SPLA, for what you did in the past on those 21 years. You stood up. It is, you did a good job on that. But the leader of the SPLM, I'm still discourage those people, because these people are the one who brought this country into this chaos. All the SPLM leaders, whoever in the political bureau, member of the SPLM Liberation Council, these are the people who put us in this situation. Now, after all this mess, they want to clean up themselves, and then they are pointing their hand to side and the side. But still, the problem is the SPLM who brought this. Now the citizen will see These people give us independence and they put us in this chaos. It is time for us as citizens and then the Kamuatanin have to pick up. And I will encourage, you know, in politics, sometimes you disagree, even though you disagree with that somebody. But if you say something, little bit things good, Junko, you have to appreciate it.
Give them
the way,
yes.
the way Kwal Manyang and the way when I could came out, and the other elders like Aldo Ajo, you know, I'm disagree with them with the other thing, but the way they came out with this, you know, just to speak up, it helped. It is encouraged Al Muatanin Kalam. Also, I'm encouraging the people in the parliament. You know, you come out and speak, tell the truth. You know, don't wait your death to die and then you'll be buried like this without not even telling the truth to the world. You know, this kind of encouragement is shown now that our people now that are coming out and they realize that the country is wrong side. SPLM, to me, this is my own observation. SPLM was not ready. To receive the new nation is coming out in 2011. And I've been saying that to all of them. They were not even ready. If they were ready at Junkur, the SPLM can't ready. عشان يستقبل جنوب السودان in 2011 نحن كان ما نكون في وضع الحقيقة نحن قاعدين فوقه. But the SPLM leaders, they were just looking for how to get enriched عشان يكونوا غنيانين يكونوا you know ملوك للجنوبين. And then they took the credit of the war and they divided to themselves that we are the liberators. And then and then I give a kid. You see, they took the whole credit. والليبريشن ده ما يسكلم ده مواطنين الشعب بتاع جنوب السودان المواطن كان عنده حرارة. There is a pain in our heart that نحن كجنوبين we have to fight and then we have to get our independence. Not because of those leaders of the SPLM. That's not a desire of the مواطن. مواطن كان بدي بقر بتاعه. مواطن بدي جداد بتاعه. مواطن بيطلع أي حاجة وبخلي يالو يقدر يوصل كسره يودوا للجيش. ده شنو؟ ده desire. كان في حراره لكن الليدرز بتاع SPLM جشال هاجر and then يكمو قال they use that credit بتاع مواطن and they plug to themselves قال نحن هريناكم جبنا لكم دوله لكن هم نعمل شنو جنكور. That's why I'm saying these leaders in the future لو ربنا يسمع ويسمع there's nothing impossible يا جنكور. Imagine 4 billion يا جنكور 4 billion. That's why SPLM was ready. زمان من قبل that 4 billion لو من كان ناس سي وطنيين وناس داير يصلوا دولة وتام that's 4 billion can help something. 1 billion ممكن يدول لمسيفة في كل أركان بتاع جنوب السودان. 1 billion جنكور you can sign contract with the best countries, okay, and they will build those hospitals with the equipment. Listen, another billion إنت ممكن تبرابو مدارس في جنوب السودان في أي قرية في جنوب السودان. Another billion. At the 3rd billion ممكن you can build police سجون تبنى سجون you know تبنى جيش بتاعنا تخليه يكون well equipped. أنا البليون الثاني ده ممكن تمشيبه وزارة بتاعه. But that's why I'm saying SPLM they weren't ready. جابوا 4 billion they sit قعدوا وقسموا زي أبقار بتاع إيريش على نفوسهم. And now they are calling يقولوا إن إحنا جيب البريدة ورا. حصل وين في تاريخ. That's why I'm saying the SPLM they were not so ready. And I will never vote for the SPLM, a leader, to lead in Sudan. After this, I will never do that. Even though I was in the movement, I'm tired of them, I'm sick of them. It doesn't matter, my uncle, my cousin, the SPLM leadership, I will never. We are in a good life in the West here. We are getting good money. Our kids are going to the school. But في حرارة, we still have a pain. ده ما ياو الدولة نينا دايرين الحقيقة الجنوبين كله لازم يلقى حق بتاعه. لازم يلقى حق. نشكر ربنا لأمريكا جنكور. It never happened. President Bush أدى بعد ما independent بتاع جنوب السودان وشي إدارة أوباما أدى جنوب السودان السري أسلحة في أمريكا. Imagine this. جنوب السودان was been allowed to buy any weapon in the US. See how US was stand with that? أي سلاح أننا كان نقدر نبيو now الجنوبيين مشوا يسروا سلاح في سعودي عربيا وتعرف سعودي عربيا مشوا يدون شنو ده حصل ده زمان هم شاكل بوب 1970 يا بدول الجنوبيين السودان فيا أخوانا دولة ده ما دولة. What I'm saying here, let us come speak up. كلموا ما تخافوا اطلعوا برا. Talk. What happened to Dr. Riek Machar Junko? To me, sometimes it بدي حق لزول في المهل. In 2012, which is December the 6th, 2013, December the 6th, Riek never calculation very good. That press conference, Riek and Zol Shatter, it was very, very smart. He should not lead that conference. Because that conference was a setup. It was a setup, Junkur. Al-Hakuma, it was suspended in July. Yom Talado Shirin, Shahar Sabah, Salva Kiir shut down the whole government. The whole government. From the vice president all the way. He shut it down. And then, even those of Nial who are talking right now, they were even out of the government. And then they came and looked at the Chadishu crook, but SPLM did. These guys are very smart. They're playing the card, and they use the leadership of the SPLM deputy to be leading by Dr. Riek Machar. Now Riek dakhal fi hufra, al-hufra ma badla bara fi akhir fi his life. That's his own problem. They bishkala bataw. And imagine al shayb wasa our brother fi East Africa then. Nazil akhwana, they are not supporting South Sudan to be developed. They haja mumkin yakhutu fi ras. These people, they are not. Imagine if they give Salfa reward of the peace. Imagine, say East Africa, are they people? Are they honest with themselves? Ashanedi, the killer, somebody who killing his own citizen, and then you reward him, say the man of the peace. East Africa leaders, are they leaders? They'll not be Junubin. They'll not will depend on them. That's why I say to be a South Sudanese, I will never join East Africa. Never, I will not join it. But I can have a very good neighborhood with them, but I cannot join East Africa because these people who are calling ourselves their brothers, they are not brothers to other South Sudanese. Your opposition, wherever you are, you reverse yourself. Reverse yourself, change your ideology. Change the ideology the way you are moving your party. Look to the interest of that Sudan. They are Hamahaja, Udaja, Bukhalistan. Nothing else. There's no savior will come somewhere else. It is all us. Especially the Muatande, Atla Barra. It is time for citizens. Itla Barra Barkit. Sila Daraba Manafa, Manaja. Amul Shuru Manaja. But it's time for Junubin Itla Barra to encourage themselves. We Nazil al Hakumade, Walalam Igi Makul. Atla Barra and face this thing. Hajarma Behil. You cannot run election when you have internal display. The internal, I'm not talking about the Rafi. Internal, fi Malakal, in the Khem, fi Bor in the Khem, fi Bantiu, fi Barghazal, fi Kitori, fi Wow. Alakala, where election going to come over here? Election never you win. For Nana, Kalam, the election, Maya, Haja, Behemasa, the Hamma Haja, thing how to Hakuma de Lazim Yega. They are Amma Haja. The Hammahaja Hakumade Lazim Yega be through sharp. When sharp Lazim give a leader. I will never appoint anybody. I will never choose anybody. No SPLM Gadam shouldn't. They divide themselves. They want to quit. Who's gonna lead? It is their own problem. But Al Hakuma Yerjafi then sharp because the sharp they are the one who vote after we fire the Sila. Barama Sila Kor sharp Dakali Denu or Angas at them. Them they can't give. They won't work with them. The sharp because of what of the vote. When they vote, they say it's enough, we're gonna leave. But Ihana, but our Martin Butana, Ashanazi Mudu, Wanina, we still believe in those SPLM leaders. Never, we never believe on them, brother Junko. For Anna, I will encourage people, you guys, lazim nazi kallam, adla barra. Itakum naz bita interest, it is right, aku dollar butak wa fil khashimat. It is hard. The dollar butak, the dollar butak na hakuma. This is your right. You can eat it. Akulu waskut. Lekin zola gari kallam kaligul hagiga. See your brother Taban. Nasa said lagbodon mashak. Hakuma dama behil. Arad butana muatirim tana. They are living betriga masa. Where did they gonna go? انا في بور منطقه تاعي بتجاهدك اخواني في النملي do you think that they are مهل بتاعه ما بيجي اراضي بتاعهم فيه هنا في بور بالسيم في ملكان اي زول عنده اللين بتاعه وربنا خلقك في ارض بتاعك ما في ارض بطال لارض بتاعك you know انت من اكتوريا ده اللين بتاعك ده ما ربنا خلقك فوق if you allow me to stay there yes you stay there because of the war but after independence we should be in our land يا جنكو but this SPLM and هنا قاعد نشوفه we are impressed them guys never impressed the SPLM leaders never now they are looking for another extension they're going to sign peace Mama Lumu Pagan and then they give extension this is what they are looking for I could another 4 years I could 2028 and then Mshemda Salam Tani Ma Thomas Cirillo and then they extend it like this and you guys will be suffering and suffering and suffering and you guys will keep talking Dinka Nuer Equatorial Itokum you are just innocent Itokum innocent Ahwan I just want Hajadel I don't have any problem with Nuer I don't have any problem with Equatorial Mani Mishkala you know they're looters with our country Yawaga Firagapkut we have to move them out there brother Jinko Rabbana Esma as long we speak Rabbana Esma and inshallah this leadership of Selfa is coming to an end the end is almost there let us keep hope يا اخوان الجنوبيين الان is coming اما the statement بتاع Aldo Ajura yes Dinka elders now they are divided at Junkur you know هم قسموا نفوسهم ثانيين قاعد دايرين ملون ثانيين قاعد دايرين نيال ثانيين قاعد دايرين منو leadership بتاع جنوب السودان it is not by the people it is for the citizen ما في زول يرفع يده ويقول زول هيجي الكلام ده ما بيجي مواطن راجعين السودان they have right to choose whoever they're going to lead them this time enough is enough yeah enough is enough thank you for the fighting in the bush I will never deny that and I will still admire them the bush but the leadership of the country these people they cannot lead it anymore they already failed so many miserable fail and everybody knows this. For it is time for Shab that you Sudan يشيلوا سلطة لازم يطلع برا من الشعب وده يابا خلينا نمشي بطريقة كويس. لكن leadership رجع في SPLM it is dead. We are going to die. فده الكلام تاعي أسأل سؤال قبل ما نexit and then I give chance to the other people.
I think Carlos, so wonderful tonight. You weigh in effectively, good perspective. This is what we need. We need to educate our people. We need to tell them the truth. I don't have more questions. Actually, I gotta go because I am to hit the freeway. I have only, 27 minutes to go to work. So with that, I think thank you so much for coming in, adding your perspective. وده سبب خلنا نبدأ بدري قبل لأن أنا كنت ده شنو يعني just good 3 hours today.
Edward Khan was running the other show, and I think that's
I apologize.
Next time you have made good communication. I can show that it's loud back in them.
So I apologize.
People.
I apologize for inconvenience. للناس اللي أنا ما بقدر بديهم فرصة تانية because I gotta go. I have to go to work. Thank you so much for being part of Concerned Citizens of South Sudan, and thank you for watching. Discussion between how the J1 legitimacy between April 2010 elections and civil war and parliamentary extension and political extension. You see it in your own eyes. They have been doing it. They keep doing it. And actually, Salam de Biamdo, just to tell people that they are doing peace agreement and they are going to implement it. But we already knew the deceptions, of J1. They have been deceiving. Kalam de Wadeh. The Salva Kiir, he wanted to rule for life. He wanted to rule for life. He wanted to die for J1. And that's why you, the citizen of South Sudan, you will continue to suffer. And why do you have to suffer? It is a time to wake up. They have no legitimacy. It's time for them to move, to get out of the way. So this country, liberal aman. And I want to remind you, they have misunderstanding, misperception. Generation exit to Peter Biar, men generation exit in another Kubar Batomda, Yimshu, and then they will be replaced by Nas Kaman Young but SPLM. No. This is a generational exit of ideals. Generation exit of ideals, because those old folks, they have done their part, they fought for the country, but they don't have that mental capacity to take this country to the next level. Okay, to implement the developmental project. That's what he meant. He didn't mean that, Uncle Betayimshi want to makan betaw. No. If you take it that way, that's not a good rhetoric, and it will be more divisive, and we don't want to divide ourselves at this moment. Wani, my brother, Emmanuel Joani said it clear. It's a time for us to be together and march and get them out of the way so we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So thank you so much for being part of Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. Thank you for watching. Wherever you tune in, inshallah, next week with another episode, or we can do it in the middle of week as well. It depends on Ahdas fil Ayyam al-Jaya. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
وتقول لا للبسات ابقى راجل وتكون وطني وتقول لا لزلمان ده يقدم شاب ولا لو يهود بيشيل بدور بيشيل غدا ويشيل عجاب ابقى راجل وتقول لا وتفضل جاب ولا لو يهود بيشيل بدور ويشيل غدا ويشيل عجاب ابقى راجل وتقول لا وتفضل جان وتقول لا لزلمان ده يقدم شاب ابقى راجل وتكون وطني وتقول لا للبسات ابقى راجل وتكون وطني وتقول لا لزلمان ده يقدم شاب ولا لو يهود بيشيل بدور بيشيل غدا ويشيل عجاب ابقى راجل وتقول لا وتفضل جان ولا لو يهود بيشيل بدور ويشيل غدا ويشيل عجاب ابقى راجل وتقول لا وتفضل جان قلبي قوان يا بني الويل اسبل لما جن زمان قلب يركا مشغول كمو ملكا ملكا